Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Gotlegs. It's been a couple of days since my crash and I'm already feeling a lot better. My neck is still really sore. That'll probably take a week or two or something before that loosens up. And yesterday I decided to remove the bandages and basically let the stitches breathe a bit. So after 2 days I was able to remove those. So that has been very nice. So hopefully I'll be ready to ride again soon. The bike was taken into my local bike shop yesterday because the insurance wanted to take a look at it. My insurance has been great so far. They covered the damage to the helmet and to my jawbreakers and already got the money, so that's perfect. And with that money I actually ordered the exact same helmet that I crashed with, the HJC Furion, which I have been very glad and fond of, and it was just too soon to let that one go. So I decided to order the exact same model in the exact same color. So that would be very good. So my insurance has to look closer to my brake levers, my wheels, and also the stem to see if they'll cover that. And hopefully they will. Whatever the outcome, I need some new wheels. So I've already gone into that crazy mode you get into when you're starting to look at new stuff for your bike, where everything else just vanishes and you enter this world of wheels. So I've been spending the last 3 days now just looking at various options, going through forums, going through used advertisements and all that to see if I can find something that could be relevant for me. What has really made this process difficult is that I don't really know if I'm going to put out the kind of money that I did for the NV wheels once again, because they were crazy expensive. In Europe at least, they're very expensive compared to the trade-offs. Of course, they're very good wheels, no doubt about it, but you also pay for it, and you actually get twice as much for your money with NV as you do with somebody else. That's like the big question, and that has been the topmost question for me. So what I've been looking for and I've come down to with the new wheels is that they need to be able to brake good in the wet. That's basically one of the top priorities. We have a lot of various weather here in Denmark, and it's not seldom that we have rain. So I need something that'll actually be able to get me down to speed when I need to even if it's wet. And the Renaults that I had before, the NVs, were okay, but you had that feeling when you pulled the brake levers that it had to like spin a couple of times before it actually did bite the braking surface. So that's not too fun. And I guess that most of the braking surfaces today are pretty good, but there's just some that are just a little bit better than others. Another very important thing for me is that they need to be stiff. I'm not a light guy. I'm around 80 kilos, plus minus a couple of kilos. And with the NVs, they were just not stiff enough for me. And I usually get that with most wheels, that they have a tendency to be a bit flexy in the rear. And when I sprint, I really hammer the bike. So I need something that will be stiff enough to not have any brake rub. The next thing that's very crucial is that the wheels need to be stable in crosswinds. Again, we have various weather here in Denmark. We have a lot of rain, we have a lot of sun, we also have a lot of wind. So I need something that won't force me out into the gutter if there's sudden gusts of wind. And a lot of the newer carbon wheels are pretty good in crosswind situations. And then of course they have to be aerodynamic and not be overly heavy. So those are like the main criteria for the upcoming wheels. So my current short list is buy a set of NV, the new 5.6 which has a bit more depth to them than the 4.5s, which is perfect here in Denmark because kind of like the bigger the better. And of course you'll have the trade-off with weight and all that. So the 7.8s are probably too deep, but the 5.6 could be a pretty good alternative. The best wheels are probably the 6.7s, but NV hasn't really done anything to the 6.7s. You can't really buy them anymore. I have a set on my TT bike. They're very good wheels, but they don't have like the updated brake track, and they don't have the really wide rims that we've grown to love now. So the good thing about the 5.6 are also that they're tubeless compatible. So if I want to ride them tubeless, I can do that, and I like that that option at least. Another thing I looked into was basically having like the 4.5s that I have now. This is not the exact same wheel set, but basically the rims, and build them up with a new hub and all that. But then NV introduced the 5.6, which have a little more depth to them and also have the tubeless compatibility, which kind of edges them ahead. They're the same price anyways. Anyways, the NV4, the 5.6, I'd probably have built around like a wide industry hub or the Industry 9 hub. I'm not a hub expert, so I don't really know which one is better, but those are the two that I've been recommended at least. And basically built up with a bit heavier spoke than the Sapim CX Ray. And hopefully that will be stiff enough for me. Another option I've looked into is the Cycle Clinic in the UK that has a wheel set called Borg 50C, which is an open mold rim. He doesn't specify where he gets them, but he's a reputable wheel builder, so I'm pretty sure that they're okay. And laced up with some carbon TI hubs, and also with I can't remember if it was DT Swiss or Sapim spokes. Anyways, basically half the price of, or more or less half the price of the NVs. Kind of makes you wonder. They're 50 mil clincher wheel, so they should be pretty good. The downside is that I can't really find that many reviews about them, and I'm still a bit uncertain about the brake abilities in the wet. I rode with Dave from November Bicycles, Wheels, whatever they're called, about the same issue, and he recommended the NV 5.6 or 4.5s, but he also recommended Boyd. So Boyd has a 60mm clincher wheel that looks very interesting, and I like the fact that they're not using open mold rims. They actually make their own. They don't make them, but they're in the development with the company that then uses the molds to have the carbon built. So I really like that. The downside to those is that they're kind of heavy. I think they're around 1700 grams for a set of 60mm clinchers. So they're just right around the upper limit of what I think a wheel set like that should be at. And then there's just all the other guys. So I've looked into the SIP 404s with the NSW brake surface and all that. Look very interesting. The downside to SIP is that I've not had that good experiences with SIP previously. I had a set of 404 Firecrest, and they were soft as butter, so not ideal for me. Oh, by the way, the good thing about the Boyd wheels would be that you can get them in a 24-28 configuration, meaning extra stiffness, which is pretty good. I also had the Kampa Bora 50 wheels on a short list, but I just don't like, or I'd more or less put it, I like the fact that with like a standard solution, I can change all the spokes if I want to. I can change the hubs if I want to. I can change the rim if I want to. Going with a system like the Kampa thing is that you're limited to that kind of spoke. You're limited to a hub set that is designed specifically for this rim. So you don't have that much flexibility around it. But they should be very, very good. They should be fast. They should be stiff. And the diamond braking surface should be really, really good. So they're just not doing it for me. Also looked at Bontrager, which I kind of have like a bad feeling with riding Bontrager wheels on a Specialized bike. Kind of like when I see people riding Roval wheels on a Pinarello or Cervelo or anything like that. They're just so tied to that brand. So Bontrager wheels should be on a Trek. So that's kind of like the process I'm going through right now. If you have any ideas for me, put them in the description below and I'll definitely check it out. I think I've been looking at most of the well-known brands. I also looked at Reynolds because I have good experience with Reynolds. The only downside to the Reynolds is that they're 65 millimeter, and I think they're just too deep for overall riding. I like to take the wheels on hillier terrain as well. But there's also the option that I'll have like a wheel set that'll be great for the flats, and then I'll buy something like a used Reynolds Assault, which is, I don't know, the Attack, I think it is, the low profile 32 or 36 millimeter wheel. That could be interesting to have like a light climbers wheel for the times when I'm riding in mountains, which I don't do often, but it happens on occasion. And then it'll like have like the Reynolds 65 wheels for everyday riding, because they should be. The thing I remember about the Reynolds wheels were that they were pretty good in crosswinds, so they were pretty good. So as mentioned, if you have any good wheels that I need to check out, put them in the description below and I'll definitely look into it. So far I'm still awaiting the insurance to basically know if they'll cover and how much they'll cover. And then the true hunt really is about to begin. So thanks again for watching. Give me all the feedback that you can give me. I'm always open to new things. So until next time, bye.